clear on who isn't an ideal client. But before I do that, first of all, let me know if you're live, #live or #replay if you're watching the replay. And also let me know, what do you feel about your clients? Are you super clear on who is an ideal client, or are you a little bit wishy-washy and not so sure about who's a good client for you? Let me know in the chat box. Also, let me know that you can see and hear me too. I'm just going to go and check the chat box. Hey, I've got a #live. Let me know who you are as well, because it doesn't always show up who you are. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. So do please let me know that, and then I can see who's joining me. All right, so let's talk about how I manifested my husband. And that word manifest might actually put a lot of you off. But let me share with you a little bit about a journey that I took with one of my friends to Alicante. So I had just broken up from a relationship, and I went to Alicante with my friend, and we were sat on the plane on the way over, and I'd only been out of the relationship for a matter of weeks, and I was just like, oh no, I keep choosing all these awful men. I keep going into relationships and they're not the right relationships. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And actually, it's quite funny. He said to me as we were on the plane over to Alicante, he said, why don't you make a list? And I was like, what do you mean make a list? And he said, why don't you make a list of what would make a good partner, a good boyfriend, and what would make a list of a really bad boyfriend? And I was like, oh, well, I don't know what would make a good boyfriend. And he was like, well, let's work on the negative, because that's really easy. What is it that you don't want in a boyfriend? And I was like, all right, I don't want them to smoke. I don't want them to drink too much. I don't really want them to be into football, because then I lose them all weekend, and that's all they're focused on. And I had this huge list of things that I didn't want. I also had a huge list of their attitudes. I wanted them to be a go-getter. I wanted them to be, I didn't want them to be the kind of person that kind of sat around all day watching TV, or, that kind of slow, not my kind of energy. So the energy had to be high. And I made this huge list of things that I didn't want my ideal partner or boyfriend to be. And you might be saying to me, why are you sharing this with me, Amanda? And I want to share with you that it was really easy to put together the things I didn't want. What was more difficult, and was also a lot shorter, was the list of things that I did want in a boyfriend. Okay, so as we were going over to Alicante, we put together this list. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to choosing your ideal client, you are choosing who you want to be in a relationship with. Okay, they're not going to be your boyfriend or the girlfriend or your husband or your wife, but it's still about choosing the kind of person you want to be in a relationship with. Okay, so one of the things I try and get my clients to do is make a list of all the traits of all the good things that you want to have with an ideal client. Return all the information, respond quickly, be someone you like, be someone that you enjoy talking to, all those kind of things. But that list is pretty short, isn't it? That list can be really difficult to kind of get going. So what I want you to think about is, instead of looking at the positive traits of an ideal client and getting stuck, today I want you to think about getting an A4 piece of paper and listing 20, 30, 40 things that would be a really bad client, the kind of person you do not want to spend time with, the kind of business that you don't want to work with. And you will find that a lot easier to put together than trying to put together the traits of a good ideal client. Now, when you're putting together this list of all the bad traits, you will then automatically see, well, if it's someone who, a bad trait is someone who doesn't respond to my emails, well, then a good trait is someone that does respond to my emails. A bad trait is someone who doesn't listen. A good trait is someone who does listen. But it's a lot easier to kind of put that list together of, this is a bad client, this is a bad client, this is a bad client, and negativity, negativity, negativity. Put that list together, and then all of a sudden you'll go, oh my gosh, this is the kind of person that's a good client. And when you put together that list of negativity, you can start to go, look, that's Bob, that's Roger, that's Ben, all of these, and I don't mean that, Ben's one of my clients. I don't think I have a Bob or a Roger, but no, Ben is not a bad client. But, these are all the names that you can put if they are bad clients for you, okay? So then you can go, do you know what? These are really bad people I don't want to work with. who is it that I do want to work with? So start with the negative, not the positive. It's a lot easier to do that list of negativity. All right, it's a lot easier, and it's horrible. I know it sounds horrible, but when I did put together the traits of a good boyfriend and a bad boyfriend, my list of what I didn't want went on for over one side of A4, and my list of what I did want was really difficult to put together because it's kind of a wish list, and that's really hard to put together. But what you don't want, we pretty much know, and we pretty much understand that. So when it comes to choosing your ideal client, go with the list of negativity first, and then put together the positivity. Let me know what you think. Emily said, and your training 5 years ago helped me nail this piece. Wow. Gosh, 5 years, Emily. That's madness. That's so madness. Rohan says, hello. Debbie says that she's live. Hey, Debbie, how are you? Debbie, you're going to be working on this at the moment in the work that we're doing together. So really get super clear on who isn't a good client so you can then go out and hunt for those really good clients that you want to work with. Anyway, that's my piece of wisdom for today. I just thought I'd jump on and go, do you know what? Sometimes it's easier to be negative than it is to be positive. From the negativity, you can then put together what it is that you don't want and put together what it is that you do want. So yeah, enjoy. Morning, Pascal. How are you, sweetheart? Right, I'll catch up with you all tomorrow. I'm going to love you and leave you. Short and sweet today. Put together a list of what the traits of, or the horrible traits of an ideal client are, and then you can put together the list of the good traits. All right, see you tomorrow.